Hey everyone, my name's Keenan. Welcome to a very special celebratory Swapr farming launch call. This call will be super casual in nature. We'll have some open discussion, and we'll also have a Swapr farming and beta v5 AMA after the launch of farming. And we'll also be, as a group, watching the countdown to the launch of farming, which is currently at 27 minutes. And obviously, any questions, any discussion points, everyone's welcome to speak. This is our first time using stages, so anyone that would like to speak, you'll have to manually opt in and request, and we're happy to invite anyone up to the stage. Any contributors, if I've done the permission right, you should be able to enter and leave the stage at any time by clicking the join button at the bottom. And you should also be able to accept people automatically in case I disconnect for any reason. So yeah, we should be set up and ready to go. We'll kick off with just some casual discussion, hanging out for the next 10 minutes or so before we move into a word from the Swapr squad and the countdown to farming. So yeah. Super casual stuff, I guess. Anything to call attention to? I guess the first thing I might want to mention is that DX Stats has now been pointed to the newest release, and as of, I believe, a couple minutes ago, it's moving pretty fast. Swapr Arbitrum has surpassed 10 million TVL, actually at 11.2 right now, which is super, super exciting.
Keenan, you and me were joking yesterday. I asked, should I do the 10 million TVL graphic right away? I should probably have done that. So we actually published a tweet yesterday saying, "Hey, 1 million TVL," and that was like 12 hours ago. So yeah, this is super exciting.
Yeah, we reached 1 million TVL in Arbitrum, I believe what must have been an hour after the beta v5 release and migration went up, which is extra impressive because there was some hitches with liquidity migration due to the subgraph. And obviously here we are, farming is yet to start, and we're already seeing over 10 million, which is super, super impressive. Also worth noting, over $1 million of volume currently on Arbitrum in the last 24 hours.
Super exciting. Do we know how many wallets that currently holding Swapr token?
Let's take a look. Why don't we?
312 of the new token.
Interesting.
It's maybe a little tricky though, because if people are depositing liquidity, you probably want to look at the number of LPs too. I'm looking at just the new token. Which text are we using? The mothership?
Yeah, the mothership.
Yeah. That's like the token address. You can see the number of holders. Let's see if we can find the LP address.
Do you have the old Swapr contract handy? I'm curious what the difference between the new holder count and the old holder count is.
I have that too if I through my tabs. Oh, way too much going on.
Have to sift through.
I mean, you can also just search for it, but I have it here.
Yeah. Still 961 addresses.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, most people have not converted.
Do you think that could be a result of bookmarking after using swapr.e/?
A big part of it is if you scroll through those balances, I think at some point in there, a good number of them are actually more like dust than significant balances. Interesting to see some of the pairs have fairly low liquidity still.
Let's see here.
Like the GRT WETH pair is
So
less
yeah,
than
graph is
$5,000.
very special. I think most holder of the graph is actually what do you call it? Delegating their tokens, which is takes 30 days to actually undelegate their tokens. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see that pool. We actually plan that pool to be rather small, comparing it to other liquidity. It's rather small, but it's gonna be enough for it to have volume, I think. So yeah, graph is I don't wanna shill it, but it's an interesting pair.
Another thing worth mentioning, just while we're on the DX stats topic, maybe dropping the link as well here in Mothership. There is an error message at the top of the screen related to the syncing of blocks. This is technically correct because the error is displayed after 30 blocks have surpassed since the sync. But since Arbitrum blocks are 1 second each, it's very easy for this to become out of sync in the sense that it is on the UI. So actually the data is correct and usually only 30 seconds to a minute off. But the warning will be there until the next build comes out, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Not sure if there's any other context on that. Federico, maybe.
Yeah, one thing I can say is that the fix is already there in the code. We need to test it internally and then we'll just release it once testing is done. But should be okay, should be fixed already at least. So if you had provided liquidity in the old contracts with the beta 5 release, we provided you a link to the old build through which you could then pull liquidity. And the beta 5 actually detected if you were an LP on the old build and showed you this prompt to basically just, before going ahead and converting your Swapr token to the new one, go ahead and pull liquidity from the old build. And in order to do that, we actually queried the subgraph. So we have two subgraphs right now, one related to the old Swapr contracts and one related to the new ones, and on Arbitrum they got out of sync. So I needed to do some fixes. The issue was with contract calls, which are done on our subgraph, and the fix was simply to minimize these contract calls, which were actually making the subgraphs time out. There's a 10-minute timeout on subgraph handlers to index data, and they were actually timing out, I think due to problems with the graphs Arbitrum node that they use for the hosted service, and also there's a point to make to migrate to the centralized network as soon as we can. And yeah, that was the fix. So once that was done, I just redeployed the subgraphs, and now everything should be fine. Everyone should be able to pull liquidity, and the subgraphs should be synced. As Keenan said, the error that you see on DX stats is actually wrongly displayed, just because of the frequency of the blocks in Arbitrum 1. I needed to change a few things, and now should be fixed, at least in the code. We need to do a release, obviously, but that should be yeah, that should be it.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. I guess
Yeah, no problem.
I guess now that the call's filling out here is a good opportunity Well, first of all, remind everyone there will be a POAP for this call. Won't quite be released. We're going to wait for a word from the Swapr team and the countdown to the launch of farming. But shortly after that, we'll share the POAP in the call verbally. It won't be in the chat. So you'll want to stick around for that. But now is probably good a time as any for a word from the Swapr squad itself. Maybe Zet, if you want to take it away.
Let me see here. I hope you hear me better now. And if not, just say something. So yeah, I don't know where to start. Maybe I should just say quickly. Maybe I've already told this story, but what is Swapr? Why Swapr? So basically, Swapr was an idea that someone from DXDAO actually came up with and said, hey, we should fork Uniswap. That was a year ago, or more than a year ago. It was actually before anyone else forked Uniswap. And the idea was actually forking Uniswap and having a DAO controlling the fees and controlling the protocol. That was like the beginning of the idea, and the idea grew to something bigger. And until there was a team, I was actually the first member of Swapr team, like officially, and we were just planning it, and then Federico here joined the team and became the lead dev, and we start building it. We were basically a two-man team building Swapr at first, and we obviously missed some hype around forking Uniswap. Like we saw SushiSwap, we saw a lot of other forks, and they were actually much quicker on releasing the fork and releasing a token. So we kind of missed that, and we felt like there is a need of actually adding more than just a fork, right? And we did have a plan to do a governance-based fork of Uniswap, but I think in the end we also started to listen to what do people want to do with the fork of Uniswap. What do people want to do right now? And I think farming is like a big deal for projects and for DeFi users. So we created do-it-yourself farming, basically allowing any project or any person to go into the UI, create a farm at Swapr without asking us. And this is actually a pretty big deal. We have a lot of projects coming to us and are super interested in launching their farms with Swapr. So that's a big deal. We launched it, and we also prepared for dual rewards. Basically, you can farm and get 2 tokens, and that's a feature that is super interesting. And we're gonna see us do collabs with other partners or other projects doing farms like that, and hopefully also we'll see other projects without our permission do these kind of farms. So yeah, that's where we are right now. We're doing farming. We're doing multiple networks. We are on XDAI, we're on Arbitrum, and on Mainnet. And the AMM is actually launched and deployed by the DAO. So there's no one single person that has control. It's fully decentralized. The domain is decentralized. So swapr.eth is the official domain. It is on Ethereum natively, and like we respect decentralization. We try not to go the easy route, and actually it is a lot of effort to keep up this decentralization. And so yeah, that's shortly about what is Swapr, and there's much more obviously, but I don't want to bore you with all the details.
Yeah, thanks for kicking that off, Zed. Maybe a good opportunity to talk about what's next for Swapr coming out of this farming launch and looking forward.
Okay, so maybe I should talk first. Why do farming? Why create a Swapr token? So first of all, we didn't have any sale. Like Swapr token, we didn't sell it. We want to distribute it to as many people as possible, but we want to distribute it to the right kind of people. We want to have people that believe in decentralization, that understands DeFi, understand governance. So we did an airdrop. We showed the communities, and we also did the farms distributing the token to the some pairs that we actually believe is good for Swapr and also good for distributing this distributing the token. So the token is actually a governance token, and it is made so you have ownership of Swapr. Basically, if you own a Swapr, you own part of the revenue, and you also will in the future be able to govern how Swapr is and which features it will have and which networks it will be deployed on and what is the fees and all the like details of Swapr will be like it will be governed by the Swapr token. So it's basically if you own it, you own part of Swapr, the protocol and the dApp. So right now we're doing most of the decisions. DXDAO is doing the decisions, but we want the community to be in the end the owners of Swapr. So yeah, that's the purpose of Swapr token, how we're distributing it. So we're not selling it. DXDAO has a big treasury with almost $100 million almost, and this is not counting Swapr token. So it's not for fundraising; it is to distribute the token. And yeah, what did you ask, Keenan? Probably answer something else.
Yeah, well, I guess that was good prep for this. Just wondering if you could share a bit about what the future of Swapr will look like from here, especially maybe a bit about the guild, what that will imply, potentially something about the bridging, etc.
So I can say it like this. I planned Swapr, so the community will decide everything after what I planned. So basically, I prepped Swapr so it's gonna be planned until the guild is built, and when the guild is built, I want the community to take over what's the future of Swapr. So until then, we're building a bridge, a Swapr bridge, basically a bridge for all the networks we are deployed on, and even probably more. And it will work similar to how echo routing is working. Basically, collecting all the bridges out there that we trust and having them under one interface, which makes it super easy for users to navigate which bridge to use and trust that the bridge is trusted because DXDAO deployed it. And then there's gonna be a Swapr guild, which is basically like a Swapr DAO, if you wanna call it like that. Many people doesn't know what guild is. It's basically if you hold a Swapr token, you have a vote and you can vote on things surrounding Swapr. So we're gonna build an interface for that, giving ownership back to the community. Those are like the main big two features we're gonna build, and everything else is there already. But we're gonna unlock multiple rewards from the UI for the do-it-yourself farming, and yeah, that's for the future, like the short-term future. Maybe I should post. I think I love posting my roadmap. I think it's easier to see actually what's gonna happen. There's a lot of details too. I'm gonna post a roadmap in the chat here. Let me just find the right one.
And to be clear, the chat that we're utilizing for this stage channel is the mothership. It's above the mothership channel by 2 channels.
So yeah, I posted a roadmap basically talking about the things we're doing. So we basically already launched Swapr Beta V5. So we already, the next things will be for Swapr V1. Actually, Swapr V1 will actually be when we launch the guild. So it's going to be a big update, giving ownership back to Swapr token holders and potentially integrate some partners for our echo routing. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Cool. And one thing I don't know if you mentioned, I might have missed it, but the Swapr fee share, maybe a bit to talk about there as well.
Yeah, maybe John, you can jump in here and try to fill in here. I think you know better how
Sure
it works.
thing. Yeah. Yeah, I just woke up, so I might be a little exhausted here. But yeah, the fee share. So I mean, if a trade happens on Swapr, right, the lion's share of the fee, swap fee itself, is going to the liquidity provider. There is a protocol fee though, which currently is set to 10% of the swap fee. And so you can kind of think of that as like the fees that the guild, the product, is generating. And so the guild will have some control over what percentage of that is returned to the Swapr token holder. So basically, like some percentage of that swap fee, the protocol fee, which is a percentage of the swap fee, will go to the Swapr token holder. So I mean, there's layers to it, right? So you have to go over it again, the swap fee, percentage of that is the protocol fee, a percentage of that goes to the Swapr token. That's controlled by the guild. Each of those
So
percentages.
to simplify that, owning DXD will get you revenue from Swapr. Owning Swapr will get you revenue from Swapr. It's split up, and that's like I put a chart showing how it works, and so there's a value holding both DXD and Swapr token. So DXD is the actual revenue token for whole DXD, not just one product. We do have more products than Swappers, but Swapr token is a token for just Swapr, not any other dApp.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, you guys. Just moving on here with 5 minutes on the countdown. I'm going to post a link to the live countdown that you can follow here. Obviously, you can also do this in the dApp directly, but if you aren't home for whatever reason, then this is a good link to have. It's in the Swapr announcements channel. A quick open question from Manu. Is DXDAO the company of Swapr? To be super clear about that, DXDAO is a decentralized collective of contributors. So essentially, DXDAO, I guess you could consider the company of Swapr. It's the DAO that deployed the Swapr protocol, but wouldn't necessarily be a company in that regard. Everything goes through governance and proposals for deployment. Can you detail how the reward in community vault is computed towards the time of an epoch? Is it by hour? Maybe Zet and or Federico would have a good answer to that.
I think Federico might be able to answer that. Did you hear the question, Federico?
Yeah. So there's no, like, the contracts that handle farming give out rewards at a linear rate. So at any moment you can withdraw or claim your accrued rewards. It's really, at any block, I should say, rewards are accrued and you can just claim them at any time. And there's no like hourly update or any other thing like that. It's just linearly, every block you get your share of the rewards, and that's it.
Excellent. Yeah, looking like 2.5 minutes here. Maybe to clear some things up on the side of the staking. These campaigns will be manually opt-in. Adding liquidity to the Swapr protocol won't be enough to collect the Swapr rewards. You'll have to interact with the contract again to enter the pair liquidity mining program, which you can do under the pairs and rewards tab. It might be a bit hidden right now. To find it, it's actually, the campaigns are listed under upcoming. This is obviously due to the fact that they haven't launched, and the dApp will point you to any active rewards first. But as soon as it's active, you'll be able to deposit and stake as a function on the campaigns. If I'm correct, Federico, there won't be any need to refresh or reload the Swapr DApp. It should just open. Is that correct?
Wait for what exactly? Missed
So, yeah, we have 1 minute and 45 seconds on farming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it should auto refresh, if I'm not mistaken. It should, yeah.
Excellent. Perfect. Watching the countdown here, 1 minute and 20 seconds. Any final words here from you, Zet or Federico, as we get started?
I'm super excited because this is actually the distribution of the token. This is actually the membership of being the owner of Swapr, and this is something we built and we're proud of. And I want to say I'm super happy to have you if you choose to accept the Swapr and become a part of this guild. So yeah, welcome and farm away.
It's exciting to see this launch. I have to say the team, a lot of the contributors made a really valiant effort to get this redeployment going as quickly as possible, and I'm happy that it seems the timing has not been too terrible with the delay. Hopefully some of that ETH from Runyan that's sitting around will find its way to Swapr, and it's super exciting to see the first product token launch. And there's more to come from DXDAO, so stay tuned.
Excellent. 5 seconds here on the pool. Let's see how this goes. And we are up. You should now be able to deposit and stake. Hearing the chat go crazy is exciting. Also worth noting, this is a record attendance call, I believe, for us at 97 listeners currently. If you include us, that's over 100, which is incredible. I think our last largest call must have been around 60. So this is incredible. We're all very happy to have everyone here. We'll give a couple minutes for any questions or comments about the farming. Of course, anyone that would like to speak is welcome to click the raise hand button and be brought up. Invited a couple contributors already. If there's any problems, we'll figure it out right away. But it looks like everything's good, and you should now be able to deposit your liquidity. Maybe an error or two here. Let's see. Maybe we're taking down the .link service. If anyone's having problems with the .link service, you'll need to connect to swapr.eth. You can do that by making sure you have a MetaMask account installed in your browser and connecting to swapr.eth/ as opposed to swapr.eth.link. And that should circumvent any issues with the .link service. Let's see. I'm just getting in now on my end.
Yeah, we have seen some stability issues with Arbitrum. Sometimes you'll get some RPC errors, and most of the time I feel like it just kind of it goes away for a little bit. Sometimes if you're seeing something a little weird, a little refresh of the page is probably the first thing to try.
Yeah, and you can always Control R for a hard refresh of the browser. I believe it's on Mac, it's Function R. It might be correct. I don't have a Mac. For the next epoch, you will have to stake your LP again. You'll have to withdraw from this campaign to interact with the next campaign. We are looking for ways to circumvent this, especially for mainnet, which is upcoming, where gas fees will be a bit ridiculous. So stay tuned for that. Very likely will be alongside the implementation of other staking features that will prevent the need to enter and re-enter. No timeline on that, though. There is no deadline for withdrawing or claiming after the epoch. I do believe, and this might be a good question for Zet or Federico, I do believe after 30 days, the UI won't show the campaign anymore, and you might need to go to the contract directly. Not 100% on that, though.
Yeah, I can confirm that. The UI only shows campaigns up to 30 days old, which means 30 days from when they ended. But that doesn't mean that like you can just perform your exit from the campaign from Arbiscan directly. And yeah, I guess we would be able to guide you if you want to do that.
Excellent.
Anyone want to get up on stage and say something?
Yeah, anyone's welcome to.
Community project. So.
Any words from DXDAO contributors, anyone in the community, everyone's welcome to step up here. All you have to do is click the raise hand button at the bottom. I'm just trying to keep up with the several chats here. Hello, Chris.
Hey, well, just if we're looking for things to say while everyone is farming, and especially because there's no lag time on Arbitrum to wait for transactions to confirm. There's a lot of quick things here. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's an exciting day and really kind of happy to see everything going smoothly, especially, coordinating everything on a new chain and waiting for the New York Sounds to go by. But I also just wanted to say that I think it's a good testament to how products can be launched in a new, decentralized world. I think over the last 5 years in terms of crypto and blockchains, there's been a lot of exciting things, but all of that has kind of come out of like the traditional corporate structure at some level, right? Whether it's like, a software development team forming and then launching a protocol. And I think what DXDAO is really trying to pioneer here is the ability to launch products, protocols, services that really start decentralized. And I think Swapr, with the Swapr token is really kind of furthering that mission. I think is really the first one to bring it there. So I'm excited to see Swapr do it, and I'm excited to see potentially other products, both currently within the DXDAO ecosystem, but also like encouraging entrepreneurs out there that are building. Like if you need a way to kind of bring your product to market, have a community, have capital, and really learn the lessons that DXDAO has in terms of launching things decentralized from day one. I think it's kind of sets a flag in the ground for DXDAO for other entrepreneurs and developers to follow.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. So I was just approving my pool tokens here. Let's get moving here with the POAP, which will be claimable till, I believe, 1530 UTC. The code is all uppercase SWPR, all lowercase farming with no space. And that'll get you the Swapr farming celebratory event POAP for today. I'll repeat that once again every couple of minutes. Capital SWPR, lowercase farming to claim the POAP for today. Sorry, I should have been more clear. You'll need to message that directly to the POAP bot on Discord. So I will link them again here at POAP bot. you'll want to message that bot capital SWPR, lowercase farming, to get the POAP. We please ask that you don't write it in chat so the code doesn't get scalped. You'll have to message the bot directly. Excellent. It looks like we lost Zet here. I think he might have joined the other call by accident. There we go.
I didn't. I got kicked out. I don't know why.
I saw you join Campfire, and then I moved you back to the mothership. Yeah.
You moved me back. So I might have clicked there.
All powerful Keenan in Discord, moving Zed around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have 13 days, or sorry, 14 days is the first epoch that you can farm these tokens on. And then moving forward, obviously each epoch is 14 days, 2 weeks, but we're looking into methods of possibly combining them, obviously being respectable of the release schedule, but combining them so the campaigns are longer and there's less necessity to micromanage the positions.
I had a question for Zet, maybe just as like a topic to chat about. We were both saying in the chat how impressive the 1 second blocks at Arbitrum are, and how that's like a much different experience actually than being on Ethereum. People talk a lot about the cost, but I really think it maybe is the speed. So how do you think that will change what Swapr is from a kind of user experience because of the speed? Are there any things you kind of want to change differently, or is there any difference between what will happen on Swapr on Arbitrum versus Swapr on Ethereum?
I mean, for sure, we do have models that are made for when a transaction is loading, right, or when a transaction is trying to pass, and those are not needed on Arbitrum, at least right now, and everything is instant. And maybe the experience should be different on Arbitrum versus on mainnet. I haven't started looking into implement any changes. Obviously, we need to test more. Want to try it out and see where we can actually make the experience more smooth. I would say it's one thing that is interesting is actually the bridge that we are building, because you're actually doing 2 transactions. One is on one chain and the other one is collecting on the other chain. So having a flow where you actually use 2 chains is more challenging. And I think if we solve that, we'll be able to solve everything else. And that's something we're working on right now. I think we're in a good, we're probably making one of the better bridges out there. It's basically foolproof. You don't need to understand how bridges work. We guide you through like a button. It's super simple. And yeah, I think that's the challenge for Swapr right now, is to interact with 2 chains at the same time. And yeah, we're solving that.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to give another call for the POAP here. There's a little bit of confusion in people that missed the call. You'll have to message the POAP bot directly, capital SWPR, that's Swapr, same as the token ticker, and lowercase farming. So capital SWPR, lowercase farming, there's no space, and that will get you the POAP for today. I'll give one more call for the POAP in roughly 10 minutes. But now is probably a good time as ever to move into the Swapr farming launch and beta v5 AMA here for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. So obviously anyone's welcome to come up and ask questions. All you have to do is raise your hand. That being said, I did have some questions left with me as per usual from those that weren't able to make it that we can probably kick off with. We will be paying attention to the mothership chat for any questions. So I guess start off. What was the most fun thing to develop on Swapr? Good one for you, Federico.
Fun.
Yeah, interesting question. Probably, I'd say, like, if we talk about fun, it's probably two things mainly. First, a pretty simple thing, which is the redesign of the UI initially. It was fun, pretty like not critical, so it was pretty fun. And I'd say the other thing is the co-routing feature, because that one was pretty easy too, but it's a pretty big improvement, I'd say. So I thought that brought a great improvement to the user experience, with not a lot of effort relatively to other things such as the farming and the token itself. So yeah, I'd say these two things mainly. But also the farming itself was pretty fun. So yeah, I generally have fun when developing, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, thank you. I've got another one here. What exactly is Farming 2.0 from the farming announcement on Medium?
Ooh. Who wanna take that? Maybe
Probably you or John would be the guy.
John is probably better filtering out what I'm gonna say.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I think the general thinking here is that farming so far, for the most part, has been a pretty blunt instrument for projects to use to incentivize things that they'd like to see on their platforms, like total value locked, like providing liquidity on Swapr, as we're seeing right here. And I think the community here has observed that there is some innovation happening in the space. You're starting to see KPI tokens used. UMA project has, I think, pioneered that and has seen some use from different projects. And so I think the question we've asked is how can we give more tools and better efficiency to the projects doing incentive campaigns? And so there's a project being worked on by DXDAO right now, which I don't think we want to give any dates yet, but hopefully there'll be a prototype coming in weeks and not months. And we are pretty excited about it. It's a pretty simple approach to giving rewards based on conditions. The idea actually came out of Swapr Squad, but I think it's also inspired by the fact that DXDAO also has Omen, which is a prediction market platform, and that platform is built on the conditional token framework. So we started asking ourselves, what if you could give rewards conditionally, right? So we started calling it conditional rewards, this idea. And yeah, so I think we'll be sharing more about this shortly, but I'll try to simply cover how it works. The project should be able to create a question, a condition, much like you would do creating a market in Omen. Should be able to provide collateral, and then based on whether that condition is met, recipients of a new token, which would be like a KPI token or a conditional rewards token, would then be able to redeem that token for the collateral. The steps for the project would be like make a condition, deposit the collateral, and mint this conditional token, and then give out that conditional token to recipients they want to incentivize. Yeah, it's not too crazy, but I think it could be really powerful. We think it fits in very nicely with Swapr, with the DIY farming, and we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, thanks for that, John. Of course. Sorry, go ahead.
It took me actually a while to understand what John just described. I think for us working with this, it might be easier to understand it because we live and breathe crypto. But if I can just try to simplify what John said, basically farming 1.0 it's what we've seen for a year everyone else is doing. we haven't seen that much innovation when it comes to farming. We've seen some like variations, but farming costs a lot of tokens, right? And it doesn't guarantee you a success for your product, right? So we want to take it a step further and actually give value to the farmers if they give value back, basically. And that's somehow what farming 2.0 is, and will basically give a token that is valued less if the value or the TVL of Swapr is lower. I'm just giving an example here. So basically, if Swapr has a goal, so community needs to help Swapr gain that goal to get the like maximum farming rewards. That's what's farming 2.0 is, and I think this is a good thing for everyone. It's especially a good thing for like smaller farmers, and even like whales will be like really helpful here. So I think I'm excited actually to try it out. We're building something in the background. Swapr will be one of the first projects to use this farming 2.0, and we have external projects interested in using farming 2.0 too.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Zet. Say, as usual, or as I mentioned, anyone's welcome to come up here. Just click the raise hand button, answering questions in the chat as well. One last call for the POAP claimable for 10 more minutes. You'll need to message the @POAP bot directly. Capital SWPR, lowercase farming. That's Swapr farming, Swapr being the Swapr token ticker. I guess one question that I had, maybe good for you, Zet. Are there any special plans for those early in Swapr? Maybe NFTs?
I don't want to promise anything, but I think we wanna do something special for those who entered early, especially those who provided liquidity really early on. And yeah, it's nothing set in stone, but I definitely want to prioritize giving back to the community, and super thankful that people are trusting Swapr and its product and want to be part of it. So an NFT, maybe, let's see. It's not set in stone yet.
Cool. I have a question here. It says, when is the release date of Swapr Guild governance?
Good question. So there's different phases of the release of the guild. I think the first stage will be a purely signaling guild where we actually not interacting with any smart contracts. So it will basically still be DXDAO doing most of the on-chain decisions, but the signaling will still be. So if you hold Swapr, you will have a voice. So basically, if we're gonna ask like, hey guys, should we add Polygon network to Swapr, and we'll ask the Swapr community, and they will vote with their Swapr token, yes or no, and hopefully the rep holders of DXDAO will respect the signal and actually do it as Swapr wants. That's the first stage. It's signaling guild rather than a smart contract guild, and that would try to prioritize to get out as soon as possible. And I don't want to give out dates, but yeah, as soon as possible.
Yeah, thank you, Zet. Any other questions here? As always, feel free to step up. That includes you guys, Chris, John, etc. It's a question I have. Let's see here. we have marketplace / plugins on the roadmap. Do you want to maybe talk a bit about what exactly that looks like?
Can you ask again? Sorry, I was just responding to someone on chat.
Yeah. In the roadmap, you have written down marketplace / plugins. Do you want to maybe talk a bit about that and what that might mean?
Yeah, I can. So this is an idea I had really long time ago, actually, and it's basically letting external dApps be integrated into Swapr. So just to give an example, a lot of people use DEX tools to check the stats of Uniswap and other swap services to see charts, to see past transactions, to see a list of transactions, and see if bots are actually botting a pool. I think instead of having like 3 tabs open with like checking the gas, checking transactions, checking the chart, I wanted to invite other services to create some kind of like widgets inside of Swapr. So basically, you would be able to have a chart inside of Swapr showing the history of the price, showing past transactions, and yeah, that's the idea. Basically, creating some kind of like app store, but inside of Swapr. And I I I think it's still like this kind of thing is still early. I think we need to dominate the market somehow to get this rolling. Most probably the first widgets will be created by us, right? We don't want to force everyone to see the charts or force everyone to see past transactions. But I think it's really useful for people. And me as a trader myself, I like to see past transactions. I like to see past price history of what I'm trading, and to integrate that into Swapr, that would be cool.
Yeah, excellent. If you've question from Bogdanov in the chat here, asking what after 14 days. To be super clear, these campaigns are individual, so you'll stake in this 14-day campaign, and then when the next one comes out, you'll need to remove your stake and stake again. This is a temporary measure, and as we're utilizing our DIY farming interface. But we are looking into ways to consolidate it until we can have an actual solution on the front end. So chances are the campaigns you see will be longer than 14 days in the future, probably a couple of epochs, 2 or 3, especially on mainnet for anyone that's prospective mainnet farmers. Ahmed says, as a trader, I like to find new coins in Uniswap that aren't yet listed on Binance. Is it possible to do that with Swapr? Yes, actually. Let me grab the DX stats link here. You can see the protocol statistics, including pairs and tokens that are currently live on Swapr here. That includes liquidity for all tokens. You have a token selector on the left where you can scroll through everything that's been listed. Brisk asks, where do I see my rewards? There's 2 ways to see your rewards. One is directly in the swapr.eth link UI. When you click on the pair in the campaign, you can see directly in your stake how much is rewarded and how much is claimable. Actually, I believe that's only for the farming. If you want to see rewards / LP rewards directly in DX stats, you can input your wallet to the accounts interface, which I have also linked, and you can track your historic fees earned on Swapr.
So that's actually one thing we need to do better. I'm gonna actually try to improve the farming interface. I'm not 100% happy about how it is. It was basically the MVP interface of the farming, and I'm gonna improve it. We'll also try to create some kind of dashboard overview of farming and the rewards you have, and yeah, stuff like that. So that's actually next up, and it will improve a lot, especially if you like farming on multiple pools and stuff like that.
A final call for the POAP here. It looks like all of the codes were claimed as of about 5 minutes ago. I can claim some additional codes, possibly, if you leave a message in this chat asking for a POAP, obviously before the claim period ends, which is in 2 minutes, then I'll do my best to get a code to you after the fact. But the first and primary distribution of those POAPs has been claimed already. Excellent, guys. Well, maybe time for some final words here as we're reaching the top of the hour of the call. Very, very exciting day, and very, very exciting to see so many people getting involved. Trying to open DX stats right now. I believe we're nearing on 20 million TVL, which is incredible in the first 30 minutes here of farming. Maybe some final words from the Swapr squad, Zet and or Federico.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank anyone that's in the call. I'm super excited for this. A lot of hard work that has been going into this, so it's great to see it live finally. And yeah, thanks to everyone here.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. We'll be around, obviously, throughout the day, answering questions in the chats. Any support, anything that comes up, feel free to shoot messages in the Swapr channels. And obviously, if you want to learn more about Swapr, we have a links and info section, a documentation resource on DX Docs, and much more that we can help out with. So shoot your messages in the chats. I see we have a couple of people asking for the POAP, which is great. I'll do my best to get back to you. I can't confirm anything, though, right now. So if you receive a message from me, you'll get the POAP. Yeah, thank you everyone for attending. This has been an awesome and very successful call. I think we hit 110 viewers at the peak, which is beyond our record, and we're super ecstatic. So thank you everyone, and we'll see you in the chats.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care, all.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.